Hello, darling. You okay?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm literally dying of hay fever at the minute, though.
What? Why? Hay
It's just
fever,
so bad.
really?
Yeah, I literally just had like the biggest sneezing fit ever. I was like, oh, Joe. I was like, please don't do this when I'm on live. Jesus, could you
Do you know
imagine?
they say something like 8 sneezes in a row is the equivalent of an orgasm. Not that I know, but apparently, this is what I found.
I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it where I can, you know?
So, Rochelle, I just first of all want to say thank you so much for accepting, this invitation for me to interview you. I reached out to you because I saw how courageous and fierce you are, and I loved how you were standing up for what it is that you believe in, no matter what people were saying and coming back to you, and if they were unfollowing you and whatever, you just weren't having it. You were like, well, this is what I believe and this is how I feel about everything, and I'm going to stand true to who I am, which I thought was beautiful, right? Because I always go on about integrity and your core values and your beliefs. So first of all, before we get into anything, I just want you to take the invisible microphone, introduce yourself, tell us who you are, Rochelle.
Hello, darling. I'm Rochelle. I'm a mum of two and I own a hair salon. And I am of mixed heritage. So for me, I've always been brought up on, both sides of the cultures. And I've never ever felt more strongly towards one side or the other, because literally my mum is black, my dad is white. So for me, I've always had it ingrained in me that, you are as beautiful and amazing as you are. Hello, Harley.
Hi, Harley.
And I feel like I'm always going to use my platform. So I feel like I'm a bit of a jack of all trades. Like, I've got a mum page and I do lots of cooking on there, and I show like mum days out, date nights, things like that. And then obviously I've got the hair salon. So I show all of the showcasing all the hairstyles and the hairdos. And then I've also added this element to my page now, and I feel like I never really had a voice. I felt like if I just started suddenly spouting about it, people would have been like, "You okay, hon? Like, why are you just going off on one?" And I felt like it was a really good time for me to express myself. So yeah, like that's a little bit about me, really.
Okay, amazing. So you are a prime example of how you can have children, have your partner, but still be heavily involved in, one business, two businesses, even three businesses, because I know that we've actually teamed up with
Yeah,
a wonderful beauty brand. So
yeah,
you
which I'm
are
so
here.
so excited about.
I know, it's so exciting. So you are literally here, there, and everywhere, and it can be done. So for other
Yeah.
mums out there that think it's impossible and they get themselves into such a rut, what would you say to them? Like, how do you get yourself rolling?
So I'm not gonna lie, I think I was really naive when I had my son. Um, I was like, oh, I'm Superwoman, I can do it all. And then I had a hard reality, and it hit home that actually I can't do this with two children now. They demand a lot more from me. So I need to work smarter and not harder. And that was exactly where I was like, this is the point where I need to figure out what I'm going to do, in terms of I want to still spend time with my children, but I also need to maintain a lifestyle. I'm in my cinema room now.
I know, I love it, and I was nosing on your Instagram, and I saw that you did this cinema room with your partner,
Yeah,
right?
with my husband, yeah. And
So
that's the thing,
you
like
do
we
know that
both,
I've got an interior design company, and girl,
have I done all right?
you've done really, really, I'm super impressed.
Oh, good. This is like I've got no interior design experience. I'm not going to lie to you, but I've always got like a vision. So with my salon, I was like, I want grass on the wall, and I want the outside, inside. And I did it about 2 years ago, and now everyone's got like the greenery and all the flower walls and the blossom trees and stuff like that. And
Literally
my LED
everyone.
light, yeah, like I can't remember the name now, Bag and Bones, who do the LED lights.
Yes.
I was their first customer. Like, yeah, that's how long
You're
ago
a
we're talking.
trendsetter.
Yeah, like, oh, I mean, I'm not, but
You
I
are.
have a vision in my head, and then I have to do it. And luckily, my husband is a very talented man, because he just cracks on and does it for me. But
But
yeah,
show
like,
me the room again. Show me. Do it
okay,
slowly.
so
Oh my goodness, you have the copper ceiling and everything, and you've put an LED strip inside.
yeah, the coping. I mean, it's
That
not
is
completely
so.
finished. That's our projector. It's not completely finished because
Who did all the
my
electrics
husband's
and
gone back to
everything?
work. The what, babe? Yeah, my
Who
husband.
did?
He is an electrician by trade, but he does a bit of everything now. So, I mean, together we are a force to be reckoned with, because I'm not afraid of a drill. I'm really not. Like, did you see my video where I was, drilling stuff in with him?
You're literally here, there, and everywhere. I can't
Yeah,
deal with you. It's
I know.
amazing.
But I
But you know
feel
what?
like, sorry, darling, carry on.
No, I was just going to say, but you know what's amazing is the fact that it appears like, and I'm sure you'll confirm this, but like on the videos, from just seeing from an outside perspective, that you make such a fantastic team and you really complement one another. And that really is kind of like relationship goals, right? Because a lot of people get into a relationship and even perhaps get married just for the sake of keeping up with the times, and oh, I don't want to be left on the shelf, and I need to get married,
Yeah,
and I need to do this. And really what happens is that they actually haven't waited long enough to find
the
that
right person.
the yin and yang. And with you guys,
Absolutely.
you're like literally building like stuff together. It's so nice. I love it.
He's so patient and calm and kind, and he will just like say, look, this is how you do it, Shell, and if I don't do it right, he takes the time to show me again. And that's so good, because I'm a very visual learner, so if he shows me something once, I can try it myself. But yeah, we obviously have our ups and downs. Like, lockdown has been a very interesting ride for us, but at the same time I feel like it's been so nice, because obviously I've told you how many businesses and how many different, avenues that I've got going. So I've never had a maternity leave longer than 6 weeks. So for me, yeah, I know, I actually got to spend time, and I had to stop. Like, there was no choice. It was like, you have to stop, because you can't do anything else. And that was quite
And how
nice, to
was
be
that?
fair. At first I was like, tearing my hair out. I was trying to keep busy. I was trying to do things. I was doing tutorials. And now I don't know how I'm going to go back to work. I feel like the idle life is me now. I swear.
I
I'm
know.
scared. Like, I've got so used to looking ugly. Like, obviously I've got no lashes on. I was even going to put strips on, and I was like, no, I can't be bothered.
I think
I'm
natural's the way to go.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm so used to not wearing makeup, and I'm so into like skincare and hair care, and making sure that I'm like, my skin is good from the inside. I'm eating lots of fruit and veg and having smoothies, and I'm taking like collagen and things like that. And I don't know, like, I've just got very used to not doing anything, and I'm worried about when I go back.
I think you're 100% right. I think for a lot of people, myself included, at the beginning it was just like, how am I going to do this? Like, this
Yeah,
isn't right. And then all of a sudden, where we were forced to slow down, and then you
yeah,
start to actually enjoy things that you didn't necessarily enjoy
yeah.
before. And you start to, like, I've created such a bond with my sister, and so many bonds that I've created just because of the fact that things have just been like lowered down and
Yeah.
just slowed down.
You've
That
had
you're
no other
right.
choice but to. Yeah.
Yeah, and going
Like,
back
we
out
would never have
there.
done this cinema room ever if it wasn't for that time. Like, we would have done it like here and there on a weekend. But the main thing is, like, what we said was, when we first had my son, we were like, it's the one thing that we always did together as a couple, and it's the one thing we really miss. And we've tried to do a few days, with the kids together. My son started kicking off like, I want to go home, and you're like, oh, shush. So it was the thing we thought, actually, as a
Shush.
family, yeah, like, we can sit in here and our children can be safe upstairs in bed. We've got the cameras, we're fine, we can see where they are, and we kind of utilize it, enjoy it. And it came at the perfect timing, because you know, I don't know how long it'll be before cinemas open.
I know. Yeah, it's true. I actually miss the cinema, but no, but you've got now your own little
Come
cinema. So
over, babe. We can social distance. We're good.
it's so cozy. So, Rochelle, with everything that's been going on in the world in the last few months, which it has been crazy, and then obviously what happened with, you know, George Floyd, and you know how that got filmed for the world to see. And Will Smith said something really interesting. He said, you know, racism has always existed, it's just that now it's getting filmed, guys.
Yeah.
So tell me, whoa, why is my camera dropping down like this? So tell me, how did it affect you? Because I know that you instantly realized, hold on a second, this is my time now to be able to share my views of exactly how I feel, knowing that your mother is black and obviously your father is white. So you've got both worlds, right? One in right,
Yeah.
on the right hand and one on the left hand.
Yeah. And I was saying it, I did a post the other day, and loads of mixed race girls, or mixed heritage, they want you to say now, commented on it, and they all said the same thing. They said, I feel like I've experienced it from both spectrums. They've had racism from black people and also from white. So look, I'm not going to say that I've had the worst racism experiences, because I genuinely, I mean, I can count on one hand, maybe two hands, the encounters I've had. But I do think it was interesting because I've always felt like I'm very secure and comfortable within my own skin. I love the fact that I have heritage and culture from both sides of the spectrum. And like, I'll always laugh because our Sunday dinner will be a mashup of, like, instead of roast chicken, we'll do a jerk roast chicken, and it will be roast potatoes and cauliflower cheese and Yorkshire puddings. But then there'll be a bit, a little dollop of coleslaw, which is a really Jamaican, you know, cultured thing to do.
Any plantains?
I actually don't like banana. Imagine, I don't
What?
like bananas.
I love
Yeah, I hate
plantains.
it.
My mother's
Plantain, banana,
Colombian.
I hate it.
My mother's Colombian, so our food is basically Caribbean food, right? So
Yes,
that's why,
yeah,
like Cuba, Dominican Republic, Puerto
yes,
Rico, you know, Jamaica, it's all near us.
yeah.
And so we eat everything with plantain. I love it so much. I can't, literally, you have offended me. I can't believe you don't eat it.
My mum can't believe it. She's like, "Are you sure you're mine? Because how can you not like it?" My kids love it, so like, I'll cook for them, and that's the thing. Like, I love cooking, and I do think that stems down to the culture. My mum always taught me. At 7 years of age, I was on a stool peeling potatoes with my mum, and we were cooking, and I was learning about spices, and it's things like that. And that's obviously what taught me, you know, how to like raise a home in that sense. And obviously, you learn from your mother, and I've then got instilled in me very Caribbean morals, and that kind of culture is now within me, and I will pass it on to my children too. And then obviously my dad's side, living in England, I just feel like I am so down the middle. Like, I just, do you
Right.
know what I mean?
Darling, right, so
My,
yeah, what you were saying.
yeah, so obviously so one thing I do is, even with motherhood, before or when I was pregnant, I researched and researched. I'm the type of person that won't start or go into anything until I've researched how it is supposed to be. So I did a lot of research and I educated myself before I started mentioning anything. Because to me, what I didn't want to do was start influencing other people. You know, when you have a bigger following, I didn't want to start influencing people into thinking my way. If I was, you know, putting out false propaganda, fake news, so I made sure that I had a check, and I looked and I checked and saw what was out there, and I was absolutely gobsmacked at how many black lives have been taken, at how many, you know, the guy that killed George Floyd, it's been reported
David
18,
Chauvin.
yeah, it's been reported that it was 18 to 20 misdemeanors he'd had
I
in
know.
his career. And I just think that it comes to a point when we need to stand up for what's right, and we need to say, hang on a minute, that's not cool. And I feel like I've always been a bit embarrassed to approach race. I don't want to offend anyone. I don't want to upset anybody. I don't want people to think that I'm stereotyping myself. I've got a chip on my shoulder. I don't want people to think that, like, I've come from a really good family, really good home. Like, I've got no chip on my shoulder. But I also acknowledge the fact that I have had white privilege in my life. A good friend of mine, a black girl, we were in the car together and I was on my phone, and a police officer, we were at the traffic lights, and a police officer pulled me over and said, you know, you're on your phone. And I was like, oh, sorry. Bloke blinking my lashes. He let me off. She said, if that was me, I would have got fined. She said, I've been fined before for being on my phone. And that's when I was like, do you know what? I get it. I even saw Jada Pinkett Smith do the red table, and she said, yeah, she said that the casting for I think it was not Boys in the Hood, the latest one with Ice Cube's son in it. I can't remember the name.
You're the one in the cinema room. I don't know.
But basically, they had 4 different typecasts, and it was like, you know, natural black women were like D category, and then A was like Beyonce type women. And the reality is, Beyonce type women are not walking around without a weave. Like, it's really hard. Like, I want my black queens and black sisters to know you're beautiful, and you don't have to have a weave to be beautiful. I want people to know that, you know, with the whitest porcelain skin, you are so beautiful, and you don't need to tan your skin, you know? And I think it's all about being comfortable in your own skin. And because I've never grown up to feel that I'm different or that I'm any less loved, I've always had that confidence. So I thought, this is my time now to use my voice for the greater good.
And what's happened? Have you had backlashes from it? Have people
God, yeah. And,
what they said?
I felt like if I was born 100 or so years ago, I probably would have been a suffragette or a Black Panther, because I've got too much.
Throw yourself in front of a horse.
Yeah, this is literally me. Like, my husband's like, Rochelle, you don't want to start making enemies. And I'm like, if someone doesn't like what I'm saying, they're triggered. And I'm saying all these words, anti-racism. And I'm cracking myself up. But I'm acknowledging and realising that I love what is happening. I love that it's bringing people together. And I love that women are feeling empowered, that, you know, black and white people are coming together and understanding, because it's not enough just to say I'm not racist, because the reality is people are going out and killing other people because of their skin tone. You have to try and stem it from birth. And if you can say to somebody, I'm going to teach you how to unlearn what your grandparents have told you or your parents have told you, that to me is a beautiful future for our children. And that's all I'm doing it. Like, my son is very fair skinned. He's got green eyes, very light hair. He is beautiful. And he comes from mixed parents. My husband is mixed race. He is Dominican and Irish English. And then obviously from me. So the fact that my children can come out any different colour, like, my daughter is a lot darker. She's got dark hair, dark eyes. And what I don't want her to do is feel that she's any less beautiful than my son because of her skin tone.
Oh, no.
Exactly. You know, you think of your children, and I think that's the main thing for me. I would always want her to feel as beautiful as she is. And I don't want anyone to turn around and say any of the hurtful words that I've been called in my life. And if I can help educate people, then I'm going to, because so many women have said to me, you know, thank you, actually, you know, Rochelle, I didn't realise that I actually didn't include any cultures into my family. I'm not racist. I don't ever say anything racist or discriminate against anybody, but I don't have a book that includes colour. I don't have a doll that includes colour. And I was guilty of it. My daughter's 9 months old and she has no dollies. And do you know what I did? Amazon, I ordered a mixed dolly that looks like Hallie. and it's things like that. It's like, I want her to grow up knowing that she is beautiful, and I don't want anyone else or anyone else's child to make her feel like she isn't. So yeah, that's basically it.
You know, it's really interesting because I host all these masterclasses on start your own business. And, you know, one of the things is that if you want to start your own business, and you'll know this really well, is that, you know, it's all mindset. You can't, it's not just about, you know, registering a company and getting a website and then you think that's it, you're in business. It doesn't actually quite work like that. You know, your mind really has to be there, and you have to have a really good relationship with money, etc., etc. Now, a lot of people fail in business because they care so much about what other people think, and they become fearful, and they almost become paralyzed in how their creativity process works, because you have to be very, very creative when it comes to business. And I always say to people over and over again, and this kind of works with what's happening right now with what you're saying, is that you can't care what people say about you, because everyone is going to try and say something. Jealousy, envy, it can come sometimes through friends, it can come,
everyone has an opinion.
Everyone's got an opinion, right? Everyone's got an opinion. I'm sick of people's opinions, right? Like, so seriously, like, to a certain extent, it's nice to receive advice. Of course it is.
Yes.
You need
And
constructive
criticism. Absolutely.
I'm not denying that. But sometimes, you know, you got to really watch when people don't clap. Yeah. When you're winning. And that person right there that is not clapping has something inside of them that is upset that you are making it, right? And what I'm trying to say is, it's that it's these type of people that come in all shapes and sizes and races. Because listen, let's not, you know, just because we're going through a situation right now with regards to, you know, black people, it doesn't now excuse them from the fact that we're all human. We all feel anger and sadness and jealousy and upset. I get it, right? But you must never allow anyone to tell you that you can't, that you're not good enough, that you're not beautiful enough, that you're not slim enough, you're too fat, you're too spotty, you're white, you're black, you're Hispanic, whatever it may be. And someone is always going to drop their little 10 pence in there. And it's about being strong. Us women are strong, confident, you know, invest in yourself, read, learn new skills, learn who you are, learn what makes you tick and what doesn't. Because the more you add value to yourself, the more confidence you grow. So that when some Tom, Dick and Harry crosses the road and decides to tell you that you're not good enough, you're just going to be like, who are you?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I am good enough, and add tax. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All day long.
Definitely add tax, because otherwise you get caught out.
Look, I always remember my mum saying, and I didn't get it at the time, but my mum said to me, Rochelle, not only are you a female, but you're a black female. And I was like, Mum, I'm not black, I'm mixed race. And actually, I've seen a few things where as soon as anybody wants to try and bring you down, they won't see the white in you, and they will instantly turn for race. And I shared, obviously, it was a very harrowing phone call, but it was a phone call from a gentleman that tried to scam me. And I was like, on the ball, quick, like, nah, I don't believe it. You're not from the sheriff's office. I've paid all my tax from HMRC. So there's no way that the court would have set aside this judgment and you would have got hold of it that quickly. And it was like £700. I was like, genuinely, if that's what you want to do, come down from the sheriff's office as a bailiff, then fine. And as soon as I called him out, he started getting nasty. And he started calling me all these words, saying that, like, it was horrendous.
What type of words? Just so we can make it raw, so people out there can relate and feel what you're saying.
Go to my story, because I don't like to repeat. Okay, I don't like to repeat. But he said that I eat bananas for lunch. I have jerk chicken. Do I come from a heart? I've got white souls, and like, I mean, at the time I was petrified, but I kept my cool as best I could. And I think that's the thing, when you allow someone to see your weakness, they're going to play on it. And I was like, good day, but good day, like, I'm not having this, goodbye. And that's exactly it. Like, people will always try to bring you down, but as long as you know within you, I've got this, I don't need you. I don't need your opinion. I am very happy with who I am. Like, I feel like at 33, I have figured out who I am now. Maybe five or so years ago, I probably would have been a bit more accepting of other things. But now I'm very much like, no, you don't say that about me. You don't speak about me like that. It's not happening. And I stand up for others. And I think that does come with age.
Definitely it comes with age, because like you said, I think when you are a lot younger, you think you're invincible, and you think that, you know, that the world can never harm you, and you don't, I don't know, you're ignorant, right? And as
Yeah,
you get
you,
older, you start realizing, hold on a second, you know, life's short, and there's a lot more things that are important, and you know, things can, you just become a lot more vulnerable and
the
understanding to
world
it.
doesn't revolve around you as well. I
No,
think that's the main thing. You think that you are invincible. That's exactly it. But yeah, like I felt like I had to use my platform, as I have a lot of mums following me, and I felt like, you know, this is perfect time for me to say my bit. And I'm very vocal with how I feel about anything. Any injustice, I've seen people try and say, oh, he had a past with the police and, you know, he wasn't the martyr that you think he is. I don't care whether he was a preacher or a vicar or a bus driver or a regular convict. He was unarmed and he did not deserve to die in the inhumane way in which he did.
I just don't believe that any other human has the right to take the law into their own hands and
Amen.
terminate someone's life, regardless of what their history is. And it's funny
Exactly.
you should say that, because I did read an article that was sent to me about, you know, he done X, Y, and Z, and you know,
Yeah.
he done this and he
Trying
done
to
that.
discredit him like it's
Right.
okay.
And
It's
then,
not okay.
right. And I thought to myself, okay, those things, right, whether he did it or he didn't do it, they're awful, right? But
Yeah.
that doesn't allow anyone the right to do what they did on that day. Hello,
Yeah.
those policemen were animals. You just don't do that. And the thing is, they wouldn't have, how could they take the law into their own hands? That there was no court, there was no nothing to just all of us,
Exactly.
just come on, that was just pure
They
racism.
were
Pure
judge, jury, and
racism.
executioner. And that's the thing. The fact that if I was saying, okay, it was his first offence, it was a mistake, he leant on his neck for slightly too long. He had a very hell-bent reason for him to have applied pressure to his neck. It's inhumane. He took away his humanity. The guy pissed on himself and he still continued to sit in the exact same position. The paramedics arrived and he didn't even let up. He still stayed on the
He
man's
did.
neck. The guy had passed away 3 whole minutes before. Now, I really want to go and do some protesting. My husband's a bit worried about, you know, people getting violent and me getting, you know, arrested and or some kind of police brutality against me, because I am a mother of two. And I really want to go and do a peaceful protest and sit there for 8 to 9 minutes and show you how long 8 to 9 minutes is for that man to have been that heartless that he didn't ever relent or let up. The
You
man
can
was in handcuffs.
you can see his face in the photograph. He almost looks like he's been on drugs or something. He's like,
Yeah.
it's
He's
like,
not
it's so
even
bizarre.
uttering a breath. You can hear a breath, that his breath became ragged. You know, I've got friends that work for the paramedics and they're like, you can tell when someone is going out. When that happens, why didn't he get up? Why didn't he then go, oh shit, I've really fucked up here? He continued to lay on his neck. And that's why I'm
Or do
like,
you think, or do you think he continued to lay on his neck, and he
for bravado.
knew that he was dead, but he was trying to style it out?
Yeah, I
So
think so. I think he royally tried to keep up his bravado, like, no, I'm doing the right thing here. But the fact is, it was all over $20 bill.
come on.
$20 bill is what caused this man, and he's a father. He now no longer there for his daughter. Like, that's what gets me. Like, any time, like, people have said to me, oh, I don't agree with the violence. I don't agree with violence. I think you can have a peaceful protest and you can still get your point across. However, if that was my son, best believe that the whole city would be on fire, because I wouldn't rest until my son had the justice. So I get it. I do get it in a sense. It's history that this has been effective. Anytime violence has been involved and there's been, you know, fires. I don't agree with looting. I think that's just damn right insolence. I do. I think the people that are looting aren't there to protest. Not
No.
once have I seen any of the looters with a banner or a sign to say
No.
R.I.P. George. They're there simply for their own gain. And that's why I feel like it's good that it's happened, because now people are speaking up. Now people are speaking out, and he can be used as a martyr. He may not have been squeaky clean, but he still did not deserve to die. And let's not let him die in vain. Let's use this to better our world and our future for our children.
I think it will definitely do that. And you know, I watched it was like a short video from the CCTV of the two young boys that were the owners of the shop where they received the 20, you know, fake note. And I saw them come out and then go to the car and obviously demand for real money. And then, you know, George must have said no, rejected it. And then they went back in, and that's when they called the police, right? And at that moment, I looked at him and I thought, if only you know what you've just caused in that moment when they did that, right?
Yeah.
But then, like, for example, myself, I know some people are not, you know, believers in God. Other people believe in the universe. Everyone's got different beliefs. I personally am a believer in God, and I'm very spiritual. And I genuinely believe that sometimes certain things happen for a reason. And I think that that had to happen in order to be able to make a movement, because something
Yeah.
had to give. The world is
Yeah.
too satanic, too dark, too much war, too much crime, too much this pandemic, too much rioting, too much
Yes.
negativity. And
We're
something
all at
had to,
home. Yeah,
yeah.
like
So,
I feel like if we weren't all at home, would it have been so much outcry? I do wonder whether we would have had the time to have spent to educate people, because I would be at work, I'd be busy in my day, and then I'd come in the evening, I'd scroll through quickly, go to bed, you know, the day begins again. But I'm a complete believer that everything happens for a reason, and this is why I am obviously using my voice in the best way I can. And I do feel like some people are coming across quite aggressive, and
yeah, so do I.
listen.
Oh, you back? Hello?
But what I'm trying
I lost you
to
there.
do, yeah, sorry, my battery went low. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Um. So what I feel as though is I want to make sure that I'm reaching people in the right way. I'm not coming across aggressive. I'm educating people in the best way I know, and I'm showing them the way. And if they choose to go out and educate themselves further, come back to me with your evidence, come back to me with your education, and then I will consider it. But I think the main thing is we now know that there's so many different people that have been killed by police brutality. The UK, I don't feel like it has as much as an issue, because we aren't, you know, our police don't carry guns in the same way they do in America. Sandra Bland, God rest her soul, killed me, because I didn't at the time, 5 years ago, she was born in 1987, she would have been the same exact age as me.
Right.
I did not realise at the time how terrible that was covered up. She basically had
So
mugshots of her
tell
face.
me about that.
So Sandra Bland was pulled over for failing to signal, and she was pulled over by an officer, and the officer literally dragged her out of her car, and she was like recording, and he's like, get off your phone. Then he nearly broke her wrist, and she recorded it, and obviously his camera recorded it too. And you saw how inhumanely she was dragged. She was literally on her stomach with her hands behind her and her feet behind her, and the police officer dragged her across the courtyard where he parked his car in an underground car park. She was then put in jail for 3 days, and coincidentally she committed suicide in jail. This was a woman that had advocated for black rights. She was constant on her Instagram feed. She was doing lives all the time, like, hey guys, like she was a happy, well woman. And they tried to discredit her and say that she was a manic depressive and that she committed suicide. And I didn't realize at the time how bad it was. But actually, when I saw videos now, 5 years later, and I've heard about so many other different deaths that have happened by police brutality, I then realised, like, I'll be honest, I naively thought she must have had an attitude. She must have given the officer some reason for him to have treated her the way he did. The only reason that officer treated her the way he did was because of her skin tone. And that breaks my heart, that someone would look at your skin tone and prejudge you before they know you. It's just mental.
You
It's
know,
mental to me.
the other day, my friend said to me, we were having this conversation. He said to me, have you seen the film? I think it's called The Changeling with Angelina Jolie. And I was like, no, I've not seen it. He was like, you have to see it. So I watched it, and it's basically Angelina Jolie, her son disappears from the house one day, and the police literally make out that they've, you know, found, and it's based on a true story, that they found her son. They force her to believe, and it's not her son, by the way, so it's some other boy, and they force her to believe that that's her boy. And she's like, this isn't my boy. So they're like, okay, you are crazy now. We've got photograph evidence when we gave you the boy that you said he was his boy. And we're now going to put you in a mental home. And they mistreat her, and they make her, you know, they batter her and everything, because the police was saying that she was making them look bad. And it's such a great story, and very much about, you know, what kind of happens in today's world with regards to the police. You know, they do something wrong, and yet they have to cover it up
They
and
can't
make
put their
out that
hands up.
innocent
Yeah.
people are the ones that are
Yeah.
guilty. And I think it's horrible.
It's terrible. George Floyd, they ruled his death as a natural cause. A natural cause.
I
They
know.
said that he suddenly just died
Just
on
there,
the
just
spot.
coincidence.
And then the Independent Inquisition said, actually, no, like it was asphyxiation. You know, he died 3 minutes before. And that's what it's the hardest thing to read. And I do think sometimes as human beings, we don't want to see the bad. We don't want to acknowledge or accept. And we have had this rammed in our face now. You can't not accept this. You can either stand with the people that are trying to do, you know, make the world better, or you can stand back and say, oh, this is wrong. A really good quote I saw was people that were condemning those that were being violent. Someone said, in order for you to see clearly, don't see the violence, but see the greater good that is happening. I mean, I can't remember the exact phrase, but basically that's exactly what they were saying, that you kind of need to see the bigger picture.
Yeah, you've got to look through what's actually going on to see where it's actually going to take us.
Exactly. And I genuinely don't agree with violence. I think that you can have very respectful, you know, peaceful protests. But if, you know, in the Civil War, when Martin Luther King got killed, it was so $107 million was spent cleaning up the towns after that damage, but it got results. And I think that's what's happened now. Americans are saying, we need results. We need this to stop. And I do feel that Trump is slightly, I'm not a politician. I don't like to get into politics, but I do feel like Trump is slightly to blame. The amount of videos I've seen unearthed since this, where people are openly being racist and saying, nigger this, black this, they are fully feel like they have a right now to say it. And I do feel like he has slightly empowered them to feel that what they feel they can say. And I don't know what's worse,
I mean,
whether
they were writing so much outside the White House that he apparently he had to go into his cabin log.
and he I saw a thing where Obama
Never
basically
happened before.
put the lights on in here in the White House. Trump turned the lights off. They need a president to lead them. It just shows his character, doesn't it? He goes off, spouts all this racist bullshit. He says Mexicans are rapists. Like, how are you going to generalize a whole
He
country of
is one of the
people?
most racist people against Latinos that you can possibly imagine. He's such a
Exactly.
racist
The man
bastard with
is
that.
an absolute loon. I don't know how he got into power. I do. It's money, and money talks. Let's be honest. But I feel like he is giving racist a voice, and I don't know what's worst. Is it better to know that someone is a racist, or is it better to know, deep down they might be thinking that, but you don't know it? And that's what I think is the harder thing.
Do you know
Because
what? Sometimes they say like there's a passage in the Bible, and the thing is, you can actually, if you're not a God believer, then you can still translate it right into your own way, and that is, free me from the loud ones. No, sorry, got that totally wrong. Free me from the free me from the quiet ones. For the loud ones, I can defend myself.
yes, and that is true, because I know where I stand. If you're openly telling me I don't like black people, stay away from me. But when you're quiet with it, I don't know where I stand. And that is very important, because I would probably prefer it if you were like, yeah, I'm not really fussed about black people, stay away from me. Then I know not to bark up your tree. But I've had it in the past where people have fully said to me, I just thought you were a white girl with a tan. I didn't know you were black. And that's when they find out I'm black. Is that an issue? When you find out I have a black mama, is that an issue? Because if it is, then good. I don't want to be around you either. So I
But
do
why is
think,
it an issue? This is what
what's
I don't understand.
worse?
Why is it an issue? We're all
Yeah,
humans. We're all born. We're all going to
yeah.
die. We all
We
have the same senses. What is the issue?
we all bleed the same red blood. I see this thing and it's two blood canisters, and they basically say, racist, your child is dying, pick one. And how do you know who is the black and the white donor? You don't. And I struggle. I genuinely struggle to know why someone would think that they're above a person because of their skin tone, that they don't like a person because of their skin tone, and that they have the decision to make. Like, I don't get it. I really don't, because I love everyone. I've had white boyfriends, mixed race boyfriend, Latino boyfriends. Like, I don't care. I genuinely
Latinos,
don't care.
Latinos are
Yeah,
quite good though
Venezuelan.
as
I
well.
like people for who they are, and I wish everybody was the same, but that was because of my upbringing. You know, we
Yeah,
had a
it is.
Chinese cooking night, and I had Chinese Indian friends. I genuinely was a multicultural family. My mum had friends that were Punjabi, Hindu, Sikh. I had friends that were English, Polish, Romanian. Like, it was never a thing. And I think the more you welcome that into your heart, the more you will bring acceptance with your child. And it's just like, educate them, be there for them, tell them that no one is better, that everyone is equal, and do the anti-racism work, because it's not good enough to just not be racist. You have to do
Absolutely.
more now to be inclusive, and I think that's the main thing. Be more inclusive, show the culture that we're living in today. Buy your child a white dolly with blonde hair and blue eyes, a dark hair dolly with green eyes, a mixed race dolly, a black dolly with dark hair, so that they never grow up thinking, what's different about you? Nothing is different but our skin tone.
It's so true. Which leads me on to my last question, Rochelle, and it's one that I ask everyone, and that is, if you had a magic wand and you could change one thing in the world, what would it be?
Bloody hell, that's a question. Oh, do you know what? I think it would be definitely equality. If I could change one thing, it would be equality. I feel like, just as a woman and a black female, I feel like equality would be the best thing for everybody. We would all be on the same level planking. No one would be better than anyone else. No man would be better. No woman would be better. We'll be just there together. And equality is harmony and is the way that humans should live.
I
You know,
love
us women,
that.
we bear children for men. Men would be nowhere without us.
It's
So why,
true.
yeah, equality. 100%. I
I
think it would be equality.
I absolutely love that. And Rochelle, really want to thank you for taking your time, because I know that you're a busy, busy lady and your kids are now asleep, which is lovely, and you can enjoy your glass of wine.
Oh my
So
God, literally, I live for these
you're like,
moments. I know.
what are you saying, girl?
I know, I'm gonna have another glass, I'm not gonna lie. It's Friday. It's the weekend.
So thank you so much. And obviously me and you are now business partners with a
Yes.
very special brand from the US. It started with a Venezuelan family, and it's called Monet, and I am obsessed with the products. You can see my skin is just flawless.
Glowing.
Literally,
Glowing.
it's Monet, and I am, you know, almost 72. No, I'm joking. I'm 36, but honestly,
No, you're
it's so good.
not. I thought you were
I
younger than
am.
me.
No, I'm
Stop
36.
it.
Yes.
Bloody hell. Okay, I feel good now. This is good. Monet's gonna help me.
Monet's amazing. I mean, I've got my hair up, right? But like literally the quality of my hair is insane. And I believe in the product so much, just because the thing is, in South America, we have incredible fruits, exotic fruits, because we come from the tropics, right?
Yeah.
Venezuela, Colombia, all of that. And we really understand skin and hair. I mean, look at some of the Latinos. Look at J-Lo, for goodness sake.
Oh,
She's like, how
unreal,
old is
literally.
she?
People always say to me, "Are you Colombian? Are you Cuban?" And
You
I'm
do
like,
look it.
I love it, because I'm like, I think it's such a compliment, because every single woman I've seen has got this gorgeous glow and this unreal shiny hair. Like you guys, the
It
unreal
honestly,
bodies,
it's
like
because the thing is, we are obsessed with looking after our skin and hair.
yeah,
So, and it is like I was saying, the fruits that we eat and everything. And what I love about Monet is that obviously it's vegan free, because I'm obsessed with animals. So I couldn't have anything that, you know, hurts an animal. It's
yeah.
gluten free. And it has, and I can never, for some reason, I can never get the word right. It's the kukakak plum extract, which is the only brand in the world that has this, right? So you know, like vitamin C is amazing
Yeah,
for rejuvenating the skin, because you need that. If your skin feeds of it, and it kind of just, it's like food. Well, this plum extract is the exact same thing, but you can only get it in South America, and yet Monet have this extract. And I honestly believe that it's one of the secrets to the ingredients of it. And there is just nothing. I am literally like, there's nothing like my sister. My sister doesn't have as much hair as I do, right? She has really fine hair. And I was like, she's tried everything. And I was like, you know, just try, you know, these shampoos. Do this quiz and try the shampoos. She tried it, right? And she now comes down, right? And she's like doing all
hello,
that. And I'm like,
look
you're
at
right. She's
me.
like, yeah. And she's like, yeah, no, I'm fine. She was like, don't you think I've got a lot of volume going on? And I was like, yeah, you
Oh,
really do.
bless
Honestly,
her.
it's so, so good. So I'm so
I'm
happy to
very
have you on the
impressed so
team.
far. Yeah, like my hair, I'm literally like, how is my hair so shiny?
It's
Like
super shiny.
so shiny. And I've done not. I literally did the bare minimum today. I'm not even joking. I was very much like, shall I even be bothered to straighten it? But I literally just roughly dried it, and it just, and then I straightened it a little bit, and I'm like, wow. And I put a bit of the Rejuvenix in my
Rejuvenate.
foundation. Oh my God, my like I've got no highlighter on, and I'm glowing in all the right places, but I'm not.
You really are.
Yeah, I'm like dewy, and it's nice. I'm sold, and I've always said that I can't sell you something if I don't believe in it and I don't personally use it, and I do. So yeah, I'm very happy so far.
So for anyone watching, contact our beautiful Rochelle if you're interested in these insane products, because they're amazing. And I'm so happy to have you on the team, and we are going to rock this, girl.
Yes, we are.
You're
It
like,
was, thank you
please.
so much for having me. Honestly, I've loved it. Honestly, I have. Thank you so much for giving me a
Thank
voice, because a lot of people are scared to say anything and they don't want me to talk out loud. And I respect you so much for having me on here and your platform. Thank you very much for having me.
thank you, Angel. I'll speak to you soon.
Bye. Take
Bye.
care. Bye, darling. Bye.